I have skipped so many steps because I assume all of us know how to create a new file from our previous classes. So I've already created my new file and I will drag my two images. So I will decide whether I want to choose this or this. So let me just try any of the two. I can even drag three of them and then I will see what to do. So place that, place that, place that. So from there I can decide whether I want to use one image or two, just depending on the kind of design you want to achieve. So for now I can use this one first. So select that image. Alright, karibu sana Edwin. So I will select the image. Control T, just a reminder, Control T is just a short form for transform. And we have other types of transform under edit. For example, when you go to transform, we have these ones, Q and all these. We shall come to it when we are doing some other design. So I will select the image, Control T. I want to reduce the size. Let me reduce it to up to that point. Maybe there. And then I will select my last layer and pick the rectangle tool and just draw some background. I want to fill it with some, say, blackish color. I think that is okay, or even that is okay. So just some dark colors. Now from here, I just want us now to create our own background using brush, a brush tool. So when you click brush tool or you press B on your keyboard, the brush tool will open, and then maybe if you want to work easier, you can get all the brushes here. But if you want to work maybe faster, you can also go to window and then you select brush settings. So it will open this tab here. So in this tab, when you go to brushes, it will list all available brushes. And also, let me just show you another website. It's called Brushy Brush, then EEZY. Here you can also you can just browse through these free brushes and download the, like, see, these are the sample brushes we have. Maybe this one is called water splatter. This. So let me just even download and show you practically what I mean. So when you download it, you can still install it on your Photoshop and use it at a later time. So let me download that one. Give it 10 seconds to finish downloading. So after it downloads, because it's a zip file, you will have to extract that zip. So open it, right click. First of all, let me cut. I want to paste in a folder that I can easily access. So let me paste in downloads, then extract. So the name of the brush is in the midnight hour dot. So go to your Photoshop. After I had gone to window, then I selected brush settings. It opened this tab here. So when you click this icon at the top right corner, and then look for import brushes. So when I click import brushes, I will go to my download brush, which is called in the midnight hour, and just double click that file. Usually that file ends with ABR. So I will click on it, then load. So you find now under brushes, we have all these types, right? General, dry media, wet media, special effects, and the one that we have just imported, which is called in the midnight hour dot. So I will just try to use this brush. I'm not saying it will work, but it might work. So I just want to try it and see whether it will help us create a very good background that we want to achieve. So because I want to create a background, so I can even hide this photo or I can leave it on. And I want that background to be on top of this black. See the black background we drew? I want it to be on the top. So I can just go under the layers panel and create a new layer. There's this plus sign here, say create a new layer. So just create a new blank layer. And on that new blank layer is the layer that I will be now creating my brush on top of it. So I will just choose one of the brushes here. I don't know which one will work best, but let me just do some guesswork because I've never used this brush before, so I can't tell you this one will work best. So I've just chosen brush number 6. So it looks like that. If you just over, you see that's how it looks. And then I will double click here to change the color. Maybe I can give it some shade of, I think, yellow or orange. Let me try some orange color. Let me see how that one looks. So you can just brush like that. And also, when you go to brush settings here, you can still do so many things. You can rotate. So like this brush is slanting at the, I don't know the direction. Let me see. That's how it looks. And I can decide I want to rotate the brush. So I can do something like this. So I change the direction. See what if I do like this? I change the direction. Yeah. So by default it was where? Where it was? It was somewhere here at 0 degrees. Initially it was 0 degrees. So when I rotate, maybe I want to make it 130, 140. You can even just put the dimension here, say 140 degrees. So it looks like this. Say maybe that is not okay. I don't want to be like that. I can adjust again. Maybe return that way, and then you can also play with the sizes here. See, when I review the size, it becomes small. Now I can increase the size. Let me say make it big, even to the maximum. Too big, small, at about there, still small. So I think that's good. And another shortcut I showed you using the some people call them square brackets, other call them block brackets, other call them curly brackets, whichever name you call it. Yeah, but just know the right one increases, the left one reduces. So once you have your brush, you can now decide you start just brushing randomly. Maybe there comes something like this. Yeah. Maybe try to reduce it again. Say, what if I do something here, something there? Yeah. So I have my brush. And I'm assuming that's my background. So from that, it's now about you to be creative on how to make that poster stand out. So I can decide, you see this shaka. Okay, I know it's pronounced as Saka or Shaka. Let me say it's Saka. So Saka right now is hanging in this background. So what we will do, I will draw another brush on top of him. So I will select him. See, this is the layer. So I will click that layer. I can add another empty layer, or you can just still, the best way just add another new layer, then increase the sizes, and then I will just brush through it. So I have hid him now. So alternatively, on this layer that I drew, because I want to play around with it, I can be able to add a layer mask. I know that one you were taught in the previous class, adding a layer mask on top of another layer, and layer mask is just hiding or revealing and hiding. So on this brush, the one that's hiding Saka, while that layer is selected, I will click this icon that says add layer mask, and I'll ensure now that if it's white, that means when you brush the color, nothing will happen because I'm revealing. So if I do like that, nothing happens. But if you switch the colors to black, you will hide. And the shortcut to switch, I told you, is X on your keyboard. So you just press X, X, X. You see the color that the bottom corners there, they're changing. So when black is selected, I can go even to opacity and try to reduce the opacity and just play around that. So here I am. And maybe if you feel now that image is okay, I will turn my auto select on, select Saka, Control T to transform, and then let me just enlarge him. Click OK. And then assuming now I'm done with my brush tool, you can even decide I want to fill this black. For example, let me just another layer, add a new layer, choose a brush again, and just make it maybe, you can even try with 46% and see what happens. Like that. If you're okay with that, you can leave it. And say, what if I increase to 90%, then try again. If you're okay with that, you can leave it also. But let me just leave it with this. Is it golden and black? I think it's okay. Let me leave it like that. Now I can go to my image. I can show you something else that I didn't show you in our previous class. When you go to filter, this filter has so many things. Yeah, the filter has a lot of stuff here. And on this filter, you can try something, say, neural filters. You can try liquify. You can try some of this stuff here on your own time. And if I double click on this image, because this image is a smart object, and in our previous classes we spoke about smart object, raster object, and vector object. So we say that a raster object loses pixels. So if you reduce the size of a raster object, if you reduce the size then you increase, it will not regain the pixels. It will become pixelated. But for a vector and a smart object, it does not change the quality or the resolution, or does not lose the pixels. Yeah, that's the difference. So this is a smart object. So that means if I reduce this image and increase in size from here, it won't lose the pixels. For example, if I reduce like that, then enter, and then Control T again, and then increase the size, it will retain its quality. But because I've double clicked on it and it has opened a new tab, it becomes a raster object. So if I reduce the size several times, if I reduce maybe up to there, enter, and then increase it again, with time you will lose the quality. You see, if I do it again, like if I do like 3-4 times, we will find that image has lost its quality. You see, it becomes more pixelated with time. So that's the only thing, that the more you reduce, those pixels get lost. You see these dots, if I can zoom in, these dots that you see here, these are the pixels. So this image occupies these pixels. So the more you reduce, some of the pixels get lost. And when you increase, it cannot regain those pixels. That's why you find your image is called a pixelated image, because it has reduced in the quality and lost some pixels. Yeah. So I will just close this layer so that I don't lose the original image. So I don't want to save it. I will double click it again just to open and go back to filter and see whether I will find anything else. So it's nothing unique, it's still the same. I thought maybe a smart object and a rust object, they have different filter things. Also, convert for smart filters. Let me see if this one will help me do anything else different. But what I'm doing right now, I'm just doing a trial X. I'm not like I want to do something. Yeah, so that one doesn't work. So let's try with the neural filters. Still is taking more time. Skip tour. Okay, so from here, what does it have? With this thing. But specifically what this does, it's usually add some effects on your design. So currently I've not done the setup for this because I've never used it. But if I, for example, if I just use style transfer and then I pick one of the stuffs, because usually it gives you some presets, we'll find the image will get transformed. Because I've not done the setup, I will skip that. But during your own time, you can try and see what it can give you. So let me cancel that. Another thing, maybe you can try maybe applying filters. Under adjustment layer, we have these options. We have the brightness. For example, if your image is dull, you can brighten it. Or if it's dark, we made it more bright, you can reduce the brightness. Another adjustment layer is levels. So level almost does the same thing, just brightness. Okay, let me delete it. Another one is curves, and then you have exposure. So just experiment with these things. I know if you work with them with time, you will come to realize where and how to use them. So let me just pick one. For example, black and white. Black and white, just transform your image to black and white. So that's adjustment layer. Then the last one I will show us is curves. Let me delete this black and white first. So under curves, it has presets. You can choose if you want to color negative. This is how the old cameras used to take photographs, negative version, maybe cross process. So you can decide you want to use maybe the presets, maybe medium contrast, or just say what if I just try to adjust yourself. So you can try to do that. And maybe if you're satisfied, say what if I try maybe hue and saturation and just try to play around with the hue, with the saturation like this. So these are just one of the photo manipulation. Yeah, I know people love Instagram. They love adding filters on their photos. So these tools can be useful if you want to modify your photo by adding filters or whatever. So I just Control S to save this layer. I can't save button layers, it's okay. Yeah, so I can't save the photo from there because I need to convert into a different object. But still you can do the same from here, from the main file, which will still work the same. But I wanted to see where there is a way, because this effect is being applied on the whole document, but I only wanted to apply on the image alone. So I'm not sure whether there is a way to clip mask. Remember what we call clipping mask, where that effect only applies to the layer below it. Let me see if this one works. And see. I think it works. So let me delete that layer. So this is how the image looks. delete. This is how it looks. So when I say add adjustment layer, which is curves, and then there's a clipping mask here, I apply on that one, and then I try adjust. So you find that effect will only apply to the image below, to the immediate image below it. So I can try, say I want to change that to dark, maybe I want to make it like that. But the good thing, if you are doing such designs, I actually recommend you make a copy of your image, so that if you mess up with the original image, you can still restore the previous image. So I can duplicate this. You can even duplicate and bring it to the top, add some effects, then change the blending mode to something different, maybe like that, and then it reduce opacity. So once you're good with now the photo manipulation, for me, let me just use the original image like that. Now let me ask myself, now what do I need on this poster? It's text. So let me just choose your T and click anywhere. Now the font is too big, I can reduce it to 48 and just say Ghana's. And I see my font is hidden, so I will need to drag this text layer on top of that. So that's my text. When I find that this font doesn't look good, so go to Google, search maybe Sporty fonts, and you can be specific which site you want to use. Maybe I can say, let me use font Squirrel. The other time I used B font. So today I want to try to use font Squirrel. I don't know the spelling of that. I hope it's, yeah. So I will look for any font that looks sporty. So I have only these ones. Okay. So I'll go back, look for different. You see, what if I try that font? Say athletics. I want to look at it, how it looks. Yeah, I think it's okay. I can download it. So for those who missed a class on how to install a font, let me now show you. So just double click on that zip, then double click on the font. But I said if you download a font, for example, when I say Google Fonts, say I want to download font called Lato, but I want to get it from Google Fonts. So when I use it Google Fonts and download that, you see it's Lato family and it has so many other fonts inside. So I will download the whole family. So if I open this zip, you find it has so many files. So for me to install all those fonts at once, I will have to extract that folder and then select all the fonts. So I will select all of those. Right click, then install for all users. It will install at once, all of them. So you won't have to struggle clicking one by one. So I extracted that because it has many fonts. But for this one, there's no need of extracting because it has only one file, one font. So I just install. And the name of the font is Athletics. So go back to our Photoshop and search the name of that font, which is Athletics. Because it's the first time, it may take some time to be visible. So here we have our font. Now the next thing remaining is now to work on colors. Say now I think white will be more good. But if I reduce the size, make it maybe at that point there. You can still go to T and modify it. Say me, I want to make it maybe, I think that option was removed. there's an option for italicizing. So I don't have that option on Photoshop right now. It was removed. So let it be like that. But now the font is not more visible. So you can now go to effects and start playing around with the effects here. So I can see I want the color to be maybe red. Okay. See what if I make it maybe like this. So just play around now with the effects. Like now I'm using bevel and emboss. And then we have the presets, the styles, maybe inner bevel, outer bevel, maybe you want to emboss. So play around with those. And then when you click contour, then you say I want to see the largest list. You will see so many things here. So just try to choose the one that you think will work for you. So you can choose that. And then maybe I want to work around with the depth. Maybe to want to go deep. You want it to be chisel-like, you want it to be soft, you want it to be smooth, and you want the color to be red, you want it to be yellow. So it's now up to you to decide which color you want it to be. So once you're satisfied with your design, with your text, and then just play around with these things like stroke. Yeah, so now inner shadow, outer glow. So those are the things that you can just try to practice at your own. So here I am. Then may say write another text here, say 7. Maybe this 7, you can just make it that size. I can Ctrl J to duplicate the same 7 and make it bigger. And maybe remove now the fill. So I go to here. In Illustrator, you can remove the fill. But what I will do here, I will remove the fill from here to 0 and go to effects and now add a stroke. And I can give it a stroke of still white, or that one, or this one, red, whichever. I think white will do, or black. Yeah, I can use black. So I've given it a stroke, and then just say maybe football.com. Actually, what I'm doing right now is not what I thought of. I'm just doing it from the mind as we progress. So I can say football.com. See what if now I change the color, the font size, maybe the one that we installed recently, which is Lato. Maybe I want to make it bold, italic, and place it there, and Ctrl T to reduce the size. Place it there. So those people download templates. That's how people create templates without thinking too much. Then just come maybe below this text. I can draw another text box and just fill it with some dummy text. So let me reduce the size to from 48 to something like 14. Okay, it's not visible. I don't know why. Or wait, this thing. I think it's because the text size is smaller than the size of the text. I can make the text be smaller, even more smaller, or I change the font to Lato. And then I reduce the line height to automatic. Alright, so assuming that's our text, I feel still it is still big. So I can type maybe, let me leave it the way it was right now. I can undo. I don't know what I did, and then it was distorted. Let me just delete that. Let me do another text box. Say that one. Make the font size to 6. The line height to automatic. The font to Lato. And then text center. And make it there. And make Lato regular. Then we are good. Can change the color to black and place it here. It means I can move this one up there. So there we are. We have our poster is done. Only that this color is not more visible. So you can try use maybe black and go to effect control. Try to change a few things here just to get what you want. You can decide to make stroke to be white so that it can be visible. So go to stroke and make it white. Can reduce the size and press OK. Can also reduce the size of the text itself. So here we are. Now we have done our design. I think we are good. So the only thing remaining is just to ensure these things are resized to the center. So I press Ctrl R to come up with the rulers and just to get my center lines. So I to take my T, Ctrl T, move this one to the center, select the other layer, Ctrl T, move that one to the center. And then I can just still decide I want to add some other effects on this photo. So we'll add another new layer. Take the brush and just brush on top of sucker with any opacity, any color. Then go to blending modes and try to switch around the modes. And then you find the mode that you feel will work well with your design. So right now I'm just using guesswork. I think even this one is fine. Yeah, so even that is good. So let me try soft light, multiply. So I'll try soft light. I'll draw another layer. Maybe choose a different color. Say I want to choose maybe blackish color, something gray. Then just draw again and change the blending mode to something unique. Say which color? Overlay, yeah, overlay. Can you reduce opacity? Something like that. And then say, let me choose a different color. Say maybe greenish. Okay, I can increase the opacity to 100%. Create a new layer again, and just brush here, and come back to blending modes and play around with the blending modes. I say I use linear light, and here we have. So that's our design. For me, I think the design is simple, but it's good. Yeah. So then we have other things. Yeah. Under effects, something that I'm not showing us is gradient. So what gradient does, it gives you option to fill your design with more than one color or your object. So it has presets. For example, it has reds. So if I choose reds, dot these, see, it has the presets of which you can still create your own. Then maybe greens, it converts to greens. Because this thing is more of golden, I can look for something near to gold or orange. So I can try that one, try this. Or decide I want to maybe gold and black match as well. I can go to basic and find something like that. And just maybe click OK and start playing around with it. Maybe changing the angles like that. And then there's another thing I can show us before we close the day is now the use of texture. I know you have seen some texts that, how can I say it? Let me just do it practically. So you see, like this text, I can decide I want to place someone inside the text. Let me just write a big text for illustration. So let me write here gun. That's a big text. Control T, I can maybe make it more bigger, like that. Let me do Control H to hide the lines. So I can decide I want to, instead of just plain text, I want to make it to have a text. So I will go to my downloads here and just find some of my recent downloaded images. Say maybe this one. I can even drag the two of these. So I have my two images here. So I know in the previous class we learned about create clipping mask. So that's the same thing you will do. So I'll decide now I want to mask this layer on top of this text. So when I just move around that image, it will pick exactly what image has. So now you can just play around with this run, maybe make it to have a stroke like that. Maybe you can even increase the stroke to be something like this, big. Then play around with the image. You can still say, I don't want that image, I want to use this one, the wooden one. So you create clipping mask of the wooden one. So play around with it. So that's how you can place an image inside another text and use it without stress. You find some fonts, especially artistic fonts, musical or movie-like text. That's how they do to create. They can still also use a brush, assuming I just delete these images and add a new layer here. I just take my B to come up with a brush. I click this layer to create clipping mask so that whatever I do, it will be clipped to the text. So I can do something like that. So I wish I will write this text somewhere in a place that it will be more visible. So let me just write it here. I can hide this. I can hide Saka for now, just for demonstrating. To select on, let me hide Saka. Where is he? Here. So I'm concentrating only on this text alone. So on this brush, I just choose a different color of a brush. Say, which type of brush should I use? Let me just use even reduced golden. Let me try that and see what happens. So when you click, you can even reduce the brush to a smaller size. Then just try to make your design artistic. Yeah. So just be creative when you're doing that. So you write your gun like that. more artistic than just writing with plain color or gradient color. So when I come back here, I can reduce this stroke, can go to bevel and make it white. I can reduce the opacity. Maybe here is okay. It's okay. What about here? I don't know why this thing is now giving me what I want. Let it be like 0. Then play around with these ones. Maybe that. Change the color here to be black. Maybe soften. So there I am. I think I can stop there. And then I invite questions.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, first, my apologies, I came late. Yeah, but what I wanted to ask, I don't know if it's my machine. When I apply stroke, only black is what is visible. But when you change to another color, like you won't see the effect on what you are doing. So I don't know if it's my machine or what is it.
How did you open your Photoshop new document? Did you open an image existing or just open a new document?
I usually open a new document, drag the object, or write a text, but it's the same thing.
Okay, I think you can check. Okay, I think you can check under image and then mode.
Yeah.
Ensure either you are using CMYK or RGB. Because the moment you select either grayscale or indexed, the only colors you will have is black and white, nothing else. If I do that right now, let me convert this thing to index. So let me see. So when you do that, like there's many things you can't do. Let me return it back. Just try to check those two, image mode, then which mode is selected. Like for me, it's RGB.
Sawa.
Yeah.
Right away.
Okay. Any other question? You don't have? So we can end at that point. Then you will advise me whether you want us to continue with Photoshop or we move to something else. What do you think?
We continue doing Photoshop.
And now you can give me which part of areas do you want to learn.
Sawa.
Can we do it now or we wait and text and communicate on the group?
On the group?
The group.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's okay. So we can end there. And I wish you happy designing. I'm trying to create what we call lens flare, so you can go research on lens flare. Go research on lens. Let me be specific. Photoshop lens flare. How to create such lens flare in Photoshop. So they can really add some effect, especially on this name. You can add some effect on it if we apply lens flare there. Good, so I'm sorry we started the meeting without praying, but now we can end it with prayers. Let us pray. Our Father and our Lord, we thank you, we honor you, we exalt your name, and we glorify you for who you are. For you're great, you're mighty, and you are loving, and your grace has abound forever in our lives. And Lord, we just want to thank you for a great session that we have had, and we pray even as we proceed and continue to learn and to study on how we can be good designers, even for the glory and honor of your name, that Lord, you're going to give us understanding, wisdom, strength, and also commitment even to this. I pray for everyone here. I know those might be having different needs. Father, I pray that you may meet them at the point of need